There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Welcome back. Thanks for stopping by. Two hands and a foot. We won't tell you who's who. Before we get started, though, go ahead, click that like button for us. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Click that notification bell so you don't ever miss an episode. And then go ahead and share this with all of your friends. Now, let's get into it. Yes, we have returned. Chapter 7 is about to begin. And boy, Whedon, it is an excellent chapter.
That was a great chapter. I love the reread.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where once you read it and you go, ding, that hits a certain spot in your heart that just warms you.
Absolutely.
So, chapter 7. There's two stories that Admiral McRaven tells in this chapter. The first one is a short story, but it's poignant. So, during training, they go on swims. Obviously, Navy SEALs, they're in the water all the time. But they go on these swims, and one of these swims was a 4-mile night swim. And he and his swim buddy jump out into the water, and before they get in, the instructors tell them about all the problems that they could find in the water, all these different types of sharks, and then obviously the biggest one that they're all worried about, the great white shark. Because no one wants to be swimming and thinking of this monster that can just come out of nowhere and bite them in half. So the instructors tell them, though, that the way to get through that is if a shark is coming at you, you get up your nerve and you punch them on the snout, and then they're going to turn and swim away. So the second story, which I think is absolutely cool, because we all heard about it in the news when it happened, but it's inside news to us now because it wasn't public who had Saddam Hussein. But when Saddam Hussein was captured, Admiral McRaven was one of the first people to have him in custody.
Yes.
And so one day, the new leadership for Iraq came in and started yelling at Saddam Hussein from a distance. Even though Saddam Hussein's in a cage, he's sitting down on his cot, he can't pose any threat. These guys are yelling at him. And Saddam Hussein just sits there and smirks. And then he just says, he waves them to sit down, and they sit down, and they're still afraid of this man. And Admiral McRaven noticed this. And so he made a comment like if the new leadership was trying to show any stability, they didn't. And so what he did after that was he put Saddam Hussein in a smaller room, and he said nobody is allowed to talk to him. The guards know he's not going to have any visitors. And so, he'd go in there and he'd check on him every day, and Saddam Hussein would stand up and he would wave him down. He'd sit down. You're not worthy of honoring or acknowledging my presence. And so he took away the mental power that Saddam Hussein thought he had. And the whole purpose was to discuss the topic of bullying. So he equates sharks to bullies.
Yes.
Or bullies to sharks. And so, sharks sense fear. And so they go snooping around, seeing if they can get anything good to eat. Bullies sense fear. And they go snooping around, seeing if they can take advantage of the situation. And so I got a couple of things out of reading this. Number one is the obvious: don't be afraid of the bully. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but don't be afraid of the bully. Don't back away from the bully, and don't back away from helping someone else who could be who's being bullied. And then also the not popular option, which I still approve of, is don't be afraid to use force if necessary. Even when you know you're going to get punished. An example of this, I was watching a clip the other day about this dad who got called to the school because his son intervened in a similar circumstance. A bully was punching and jumping on top of another kid at school. This is in middle school, I think it was. And this guy's kid ran over and tackled the guy off the other kid and started punching him a couple times, give him a taste of his own medicine, and got done. All while a teacher was watching this. So then the dad goes, when he gets called in, okay, so we're all good. Well, no, your son's getting suspended. Say what? Well, it's a zero tolerance policy, no violence at all. Okay, well, was the teacher going to step in at any point in time to stop that student from beating up the other student? That's a good question. And two, rightfully so, the dad took the kid to go get ice cream. You didn't do anything wrong. You stood up for someone who was being bullied, period. And so the bullies like to belittle, they like to intimidate, they like to use physical force for either the pleasure of doing those things or for gain, whether it's tangible gain or untangible gain. So you have to not be afraid of the bully, and you have to not be afraid to use force if necessary. I would rather you not use force. If you can stand up to a bully who's being intimidating by not backing down, a lot of times that'll work because they're getting resistance, and bullies don't like resistance. But sometimes they start the fight, or you got to help somebody else out. Go for it. And then two, the one thing that I got out of this also is a good reminder, especially to those who have influence on others. Don't be the bully. You know, there's a lot of people like to gray out what a bully is. But like I said, a bully is someone who belittles, intimidates, or uses physical force, either for the pleasure of it or for some type of gain. A bully isn't a firm person. A person who speaks directly at people, or a person who speaks short with people, isn't a bully. And so, a person who stands their ground isn't a bully. They're firm. A person who stands for the truth, who speaks the truth, even though that truth is going to hurt somebody's feelings, isn't a bully. It's the truth. Now, there are nice ways to say things, and there are appropriate times and places to say things, but just speaking the truth isn't being a bully. So you have to have the opportunity or the intent to belittle, to intimidate, and use physical force. So I think it's important to understand that, and it kind of ties into the last couple of chapters we've been involving with. Don't be afraid to fail. So don't be afraid. You might get hit. Stopping a bully isn't going to be the smoothest of operations, especially if it's your first time doing so. So you might get hit. So you can't fear that failure, or you can't not do something because of the risk. You got to take that risk of, okay, I may get hit, but I'm helping somebody out. So, and then life's not fair. You may still get punished for doing the right thing. So you may end up being a sugar cookie. Okay, I'm in a sugar cookie. I'm a hoo-yah instructor, whatever you want to call it, and move on with the day. So if you want to change the world, don't be afraid of the sharks. That's the tagline for the chapter. And old school me, I think of the musical with West Side Story, the Jets and the Sharks, but so that's just old school me. But so yeah, I like the idea of using the term sharks to associate with bully, because everything else outside of that, I mean, they act similar. They act really similar. And so I like the idea of not being afraid. And I like the idea of, okay, I'm not going to use what I have to bully others. So that's chapter 7 for me. What did you get out of it, man?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Just make sure you're ready and willing to do what's right when it comes to treating other people and stepping in and make sure other people are also treated properly. Yeah, his bully in training was the shark. That was one of his bullies in training. Seems like it the whole time you're in training, but the instructors are not actually bullies.
Correct.
They might seem like it at times, but
well, they're
they
trained
can definitely be sharks though.
for purpose. Yeah.
But yeah, like he definitely went into in the book, Saddam was definitely a bully. He used his power, the position, and just his demeanor to make those around him fear him. I'm not sure the drive for him to do that. A lot of people, it's because they're insecure. That's usually what makes a lot of bullies, especially in your high school days. It's usually they're compensating for maybe their life isn't so good. They don't know how to take it out, so they take it out on people around them that they see as weaker. But yeah, definitely, if you're one of those weaker people, and speaking from experience here, I was picked on a lot in school, from about middle grade school up until about my sophomore year, when I had enough of it one day. I didn't get picked on a whole lot more after that. Did my time in suspension. It was a good day, and yeah, didn't catch a whole lot more flack after that. You got to stand up.
Indeed. And look at us now. We're upstanding citizens.
Absolutely. At least I try to be.
Yeah, exactly. So awesome insight. I appreciate that personal note of it. It's good that we understand these concepts well, because then we can be the example of that to others. So it's one of the things that I like about being able to have this platform, is to be able to be an example for others. And so I do appreciate you coming on, giving insight with this book. I'm enjoying the journey. Are you enjoying the journey so far?
Absolutely. This is probably one of my favorite books. I'm glad to be going through it like this.
I appreciate it, man. So if that's all that we've got for today, that is all we've got to today. Again, links are in the description. As always, follow this channel on X. I'm still working on that other thing. I know that didn't come out. I'm still working on the other thing. I'll figure it out sooner or later. I was busy. Like I said, I'm home. I'm at my home station now. I am not, I'm in my home office, my home studio. I'm back. I am settled in now. The last one was just a fluke for the week, but this one I am here. I'm back. I'm done with training, so I can get back into the swing of actually getting into other things than what was on my mind for the last 2 weeks. But I'll work on that as well. So again, still follow us on X, get everything out there, share this with all of your friends. I mean, put it on, I don't know, your Instagram, share it there, your TikTok, or what have you. Get this out there and let's make this big. Because like I said in the commercial last time, merch. I want to get hats out there. I want t-shirts out there. I've got an idea for gloves. By golly, let's get this going.
Absolutely. I see you're repping some of that merch already.
Indeed. I like it. A new shirt came in today, so I'm liking it a bunch. So hopefully we can get some more things going and get this off the ground and up in the stratosphere there. So hey, everybody, have yourselves a wonderful day, night, evening, afternoon, early morning, what have you, midnight snack. I don't care. Just have a good one. We'll catch you on the flip side.